back to Cross Stitch the Globe. I'm Stephanie.
I'm Allison.
And this is a channel about cross stitch. This is a Flosstube University episode, which are short tutorials for beginners, stitchers, but everyone is welcome. So we started doing them for people that buy patterns at our Etsy shop, but if you found us a different way, we welcome. And if you're not a beginner stitcher and you want to leave your own wisdom and tidbits on the topic in the comments, we would love that too. All right, so today we're talking about how to use bobbins. Now, I, along with many people, do their first project with bobbins. Mm-hmm. Some people stick with bobbins and they're bobbinators their whole lives, their whole stitching lives.
I'm a bobbinator.
And some people move on to other organization, but whether you choose to do things on bobbins or not, you probably have, if you're a multi-project stitcher, at least one project going on bobbins that you aren't gonna change. So let's say you're a brand new stitcher, you're going to kit up your very first project, you got your pattern with a little listed DMC, you're heading down to the craft store, and you're like, wait a minute, these skeins are crazy, what am I gonna do with these? Allison, what should you do with them?
So that, this is usually what the first thing we do is, we don't do anything with them.
And then you realize that's a terrible mess.
It's a real big mess. Okay, so then you buy bobbins.
Bobbins are super cheap.
Very cheap.
Which is one of the reasons that they're like one of the first things people do, because if you're looking for a storage system, they're usually for sale in the craft store, whereas like a lot of the fancier storage systems aren't. Mm-hmm. And they're pretty cheap. You can usually get enough bobbins for a project, depending on your project.
They have them in plastic and cardboard and metals and blah,
yeah.
blah, blah.
And you probably can buy all of the ones you need for your first project at the craft store with your DMC and store it in a...
I use the craft boxes, the bobbin boxes. They usually have them in the section with all the floss, but you can also get them on the jewelry aisle.
And they're very inexpensive as well. I think that one is like $3.
This is 3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're looking for an inexpensive way to move from like just pure skeins of chaos to an organized system, bobbins are a great way to do that. Now they're not everybody's favorite, and this week we're going to talk about bobbins, next week we're going to talk about floss straps, the next week we're going to talk about Flosstube bags, and then I think that's it for floss storage options right now, because those are the 3 things we are currently using for projects. In the floss straps, we will talk about thread bobbins. So next week we'll talk about a type of floss strap that looks and acts like a bobbin when you store it. So if you're interested in a hybrid solution, but you aren't subscribed, definitely subscribe and check out next week's tutorial. But today we're talking more about like your pure craft store style bobbin. Mm-hmm. All right, so you get a bobbin. What do you do with it?
It's really easy, and we've shown this before, but if you pull on the number side, they just come out. And so then you just literally wind it around the plastic bobbin until it's all cutesy.
Well, these aren't plastic, but
well, those are.
You wind it all around. Make sure to put the number on it.
Yeah, do that. Because you and I do them differently. Because she hands me all of her plastic bobbins because she doesn't use them anymore. But I put the number up there with the hole at the bottom, and all ones you gave me, you put it right next to the hole.
I don't know if there's right or wrong. I don't know if there was any particular reason.
Well, when they're like that, they're easier to read.
Huh.
Yeah.
I think of it more as like I'm flipping through like a filing system. Oh. So some of the craft stores sell stickers that have the number on it,
which I don't recommend.
I'm using them on the thread bobbins and they're working so far, but on the plastic bobbins, they slid off of mine a couple times, so that's why I started doing Sharpies.
Yeah. I just went straight to Sharpie.
It's not that the stickers aren't sticky. They are. It's that the actual plastic craft store bobbins are very slick. So the Sharpie doesn't look as clean in your bobbin box, but it doesn't come off, and then you have an unusable skein of floss. Mm-hmm. These are ones I actually made last week, because even though I do prefer floss straps for the most part now, these are Owl Forest embroidery threads, and they come with the cardboard bobbin to put it on that has the Owl Forest. Oh, why am I flipping you guys off? That has the Owl Forest number on it. So sometimes I will just take the Owl Forest floss and put it on floss drops and write that information out, or I have it on like a little thread keep sometimes. But for this project, I decided, you know what, I'm just going to use, I had this big hoop and I was like, or this big binder clip. I was like, I'm just going to use the bobbins that it came with. So it's not that even though I use, like a lot of stitchers have a mix of things once they have multiple projects, unless they are a pure like DMC master set only person. But even then, they might have thread keeps and different things for different places. Oh, how to use thread keeps was the one after floss drops, but that's not really, or floss away bags. That's not really for like home storage, so that's really just for in your project. You wouldn't, although Crafty Gaming Jamie does use like big plastic thread keeps for her entire master set, which is cool. So these cardboard bobbins will get thrown away at the end of this project or recycled because they're not sturdy enough, and they have the Alforce numbers on them, which are different than the DMC numbers. So these will never get stored. They will stay on this ring, and then when they are done, they will go into my like cotton overdyed box to get used in miscellaneous other projects and things. Oh, that's one of the reasons I decided to do it like this, is that sometimes I will pick up an Alforce piece I don't have thread pack for, and it's nice to know, oh, I have the floss for that. Let me actually use it, as opposed to just being like, oh, I'm done with that project. So these will stay on their bobbin in my in my overdyed box until they're done, and then but the bobbin will never get reused for anything else. All right, about your bobbins.
Well, here's one where you wrote it in one place and then I wrote it in the other place. I got,
because like I had a ton of projects with bobbins, and then I've since invested in enough thread bobbins actually that I can do it that way, and so I've just been giving her a few at a time. And isopropyl alcohol will take the Sharpie off.
Yeah, well, or you can use it for the same number.
Yeah, or you can create a master set and use it for the same number. So Allison's storage looks like this. And how many of these boxes do you have?
I have 3 that are like this, but I don't have a master set. And the other ones I have are like, this is one project.
Yeah, that's very common for people, even people who have like other ways of storing things. If they have a big full coverage piece or a big that has like this many flosses to have a dedicated bobbin box for that project. Okay, so.
No, it's a monogamous stitcher.
You just needed like one of these.
All you needed was one of these.
We forgot to talk about that in our monogamous stitcher video, that like money and stuff, but that's okay.
It's cheaper.
Yeah,
much
it's
cheaper.
much cheaper.
It's much cheaper.
All right, so now this is very pretty, and there's even fancier ways to keep, like there's fancier, like there's like the Bisley, there are the drawers Laura has, there's like all kinds. So like just because you use boxes doesn't mean you need to use the bobbin boxes. There's also double-sided ones that keep a whole master set of DMC in them. These are just cheap, and when you already have 1 or 2, it's easy to add another one. I think I have 5 of these.
Do you?
But they're not full. Like they just are.
Mine aren't full. I do not have a master set.
My goal is to get a master set on the floss bobbins slowly, and then when I have one, then get something nicer to keep it all in. But for now, I'm just doing it in this.
Yeah.
But where people tend to decide they either love bobbins or they hate bobbins is when you're actually going to get stuff off of them. Like for me, what I found was that opening this box with my children around, I couldn't keep it open, but having to open this every time I needed to change colors made me really annoyed. But if you could like leave things out around you, that wouldn't really be a problem. All right, show us how to get floss off your bobbin.
Well, this was obviously when I put back the little piece. So okay, so it's all wound. The whole skein is wound around the bobbin, and
one continuous, so it's not cut.
It's not cut. That was
take it off the skein and you put it on. And if it is cut, it's because like sometimes I mess up and I get tangled and I have to just chop it.
Yeah.
It's because I won't sit there and fiddle with a knot for 10 minutes.
Yeah. So this is one continuous piece. So then I just get how much I want, and then take the one strand of these 6, and then I wrap.
And we have a video on how to separate 6-stranded floss if you've never done that before. But yeah, you're gonna wind with the remainder back around the bobbin.
And that's how you do it.
And so it's that process that people either like that makes them love bobbins or breaks them.
Well, I've heard silly things like, oh, but then it puts crinks in your
Yeah.
in the thread when you but your X's this big.
Are smaller than
They're
yeah.
smaller than the crease.
And also, some people will iron their floss if they, which is like a level I'm never going to be at. That's goes in here, right? So one thing you'll notice if you put a lot of DMC in one box is that the colors don't go in rainbow order or anything. They're a crazy order, which means that keeping them in numerical order in your boxes is really helpful. Unless you plan on doing your own color conversion for all your projects. So
I like bobbins because they're easy, they're small, you just grab them. My cat does also like them on bobbins though, so that's a problem. What else? What else about bobbins? I like the bobbin system.
Allison likes things that are easy, like cost effective, and she would prefer something cost effective and easy over something fancy and pretty, whereas I like things that are fancy and pretty and easy over things that are cost effective. That's not great for me though. Allison is not going to switch. If a system is working for you, you are not going to switch to a new system that takes time and money if what you have works.
Yeah.
For me, I will switch if I like the experience a little bit better. For what really was a problem for me with the bobbin boxes was just I had to close them because of my kids, and opening that every time was really annoying. If I was sitting in an office with them all on bobbins, but in like a really pretty drawer or something, it wouldn't bother me so much. The advantage for floss drops is the only advantage for floss drops that you can't just put your bobbins in, you can put your bobbins in a different container and fix a lot of the problems I don't like about it. The advantage for floss drops is once you invest the time on the front end to cut the threads, then you can just pull the threads out one at a time. Whereas you don't invest that time on the front end, the bobbin, you just wind it, but you don't cut it. So you spend less time creating a bobbin than you do with a floss drop. But you then spend more time when you're actually stitching, getting the floss out. And
every time, yeah, you have to pull it off and wind it back, and pull it off and wind it back.
Yeah,
that's true.
So it's do you want to spend the time on the front end or the back end is really kind of the main difference.
Yeah.
But Allison has been keeping her bobbins for a very long time.
I like my bobbins. They're like portable. You just grab.
So you don't keep your floss in your bags mostly. Mostly you keep it in your boxes.
Depends. The boxes. I only actually have 2 boxes, and they're both for large full coverage pieces.
Yeah.
But I used to only have one project at a time, so one box was all you needed. Now I have floss in 20 bags, and it's annoying. So we're gonna work on that, but I don't know what the solution is yet. I'm gonna have a master set, but I think my master set is still gonna be.
My master set is going to be in those
bobbins
until I'm ready to invest in something I know I will like long term.
I drool over those Bisley drawers.
They're so pretty,
but they're gorgeous.
But you have to have an office-y type setup for it to really be convenient, and that's not how I stitch. No. I would still need to put it in the bag.
I need something portable because I like to be in my different spots, and none of that is at a desk. So
another thing is about silk floss is silk floss. They say it's better to put silk floss on bobbins or spools than on floss drops. It kind of slips out of your floss drops sometimes. I still do it on floss drops, but I do have some silk projects on bobbins that I like. And if I have a project that's bobbinated, I'm not really unbobbinating it. I'm just waiting till the next, I'm not putting that was the first project that El Forest was the first project I put on bobbins since last November. The word bobbinating literally is the act of putting all your floss on the bobbin is bobbinating. They have little winders and machines and stuff. I bought a cheap winder at a craft store. I couldn't figure out how to really use it. It was a kind of a waste of money for me, but I think some people are good at that.
If you had arthritis, I don't know. I think because if you're doing this for 100 different skeins,
oh yeah,
it's a lot.
I hate setting up floss drops, and I hate bobbinating.
Yeah,
if the easiest thing in the world is a floss away bag, stick that skein right in there. So easy. But when I'm stitching, my favorite thing are floss drops. Yeah. All right, so if you have any questions about using bobbins, they're pretty straightforward. You can get fancier, prettier stickers than the ones at the craft store online. If you want prettier ones, there's some good companies on Etsy that make really pretty ones. So you could get, and you can get fancier bobbins, the craft store bobbins.
They have so cute ones that are like, have you seen the ones that are wood and they're like little kitty cats and you wind it around the kitty cat's little belly? Oh, it's so cute.
Like, if you go on Etsy, there's a lot of we're talking kind of like your first project, you go to the craft store, you buy the plastic bobbins, you buy the little bobbin box, and you do it. Yeah. But if you love bobbins, but you do want like a different level of like aesthetics, there are fancier boxes to put them in. There are also fancier bobbins, and there are fancier stickers. Right. Don't worry, they will let you spend money even if you want to be a bobbin person.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, if you are not subscribed to our channel, we would love to have you. This is the first in a floss organization series. Like I said, we're going to do floss drops, floss away bags, and thread keeps as well. We could have one about just doing it off the skein, but I think that's pretty straightforward.
Because we all started there.
If you're not subscribed, we'd love to have you. Next video will be a Flosstube episode. And then so every other Monday we do Flosstubes. That will be this Monday if you've never seen a Flosstube. They're crazy and fun. If you're seeing this in the future, just subscribe and you'll see them pop up in your feed. And it doesn't cost you any money. All right, if you made it to this point in the video, leave the little spool emoji that will represent a little bobbin. Mm-hmm. I think putting it on a spool is also called bobbinating, but yeah. There's a song on my son's Super Simple Songs and my daughter's. So they watch Super Simple Songs on YouTube, and it's wind a bobbin up. Bobbin. And they can do the dance. Pull, pull, clap, clap, clap. All right. Yeah, so leave a spool. That was a detour. And we'd love to hear in the comments if you have any tips for keeping your bobbins like neat or organizing them or good boxes for them or anything like that. Leave it in the comments. Let's help out the new stitchers. So thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.